we know that there are two type of systems, single user and multi-user system. So multi-user systems are actually called servers also, because here different user can log into one single computer, the computer that is having more processing power and storage. So now why we use multi-user systems? So servers are basically giving us what facility? So here are few points. So here multi-user system are used to share resource. For example, in this picture you can see this. There is user 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 users are there, and you can consider user one's computer as multi-user system. So for example, this is one office. Here printer, scanner, etc. are attached to one PC, this one user one's PC, and this PC acts as server. So whenever, for example, user 2, 3, 4 or 5, whoever wants to take printout, he or she send print to this computer and he can get that print. So in this way, multi-user system are used to share resource. Means it is not compulsory to provide all devices to all the users in that network, but we can attach all these resources to one single computer, and that computer will act as multi-user systems, and they will access these resources which are attached to that computer. Second one is sharing. For example, if one user want to send file to another user, or if there is a software and this software is not required for all the users, so at that time we are not supposed to install it in each and every computer, but on one single PC we can install that software and other users can log into that computer, that is multi-user system, with their username and password, and can share that resource, that software, and they can also access files and folders on that multi-user system. Then multi-user system, for example server, it can be used to work remotely. Now what is remote working? For example, if there is a person of a particular organization and he used to travel a lot, and there is one computer at his head office and he want to store data in that computer, but if he is not physically present at the place where the multi-user system is there, and if he is in any corner of the world, he can log into that computer which is placed in his office, and he can start working on that computer remotely. That is called remote login. Then multi-user system can be used for technical support also. For example, you can give control to a technical person if there is some problem in your computer, and that person can work remotely on your computer and do that repairing work in your computer. And nowadays, you might have heard about work from home because of this lockdown. So nowadays, companies are also providing work from home facility. So employees are working at their home and they are storing the data of their work on company's computer. That is again a multi-user system which is there in company. So now in operating system, one more facility that is given by your operating system is providing you the security. So security in which terms? For example, if your computer is connected to a network, that is local network or on internet, at that time you might be using that network to share information among group wherein you are aware about all users. So here operating system gives you facility and that makes it confirm that only authorized users can access whatever is there inside your computer. They can only see authorized users which are there in your network. But sometimes some problem occurs wherein computers are hacked. So in next topic we are going to see that. So operating system allows authorized user to access your system and resources, and it restricts unauthorized entries. So the unauthorized people whom you have not authorized to see what is there inside your computer, what's happening or what actions you are performing on your computer, they are restricted there. So this facility is again provided by your operating system. So that topic, that is unauthorized access. So even if operating system is providing you security of blocking unauthorized access, but still it is not 100%. Still people can hack computers and they can see information or they can steal information also. So we are not 100% sure about that security. So we have to take care about the actions that we are performing while we are using our computer. For example, we should not, while on internet or while on a network at that time, we should not do activities that we do not know. For example, let me show you one example on internet. For example, if I am opening a website called, so there is one website of Survey of India. Okay, here you can see one log. Okay, this clock is about what? Security. So whenever something is like this is called secured website. Okay, and sometimes you will not get anything here and some symbol will appear here. That means you should be careful about giving information on that website. You can see this. Okay, so here certificates. Okay, this is automatically checked and a certificate is downloaded into your computer, and that certification authority checks whether the site is genuine or not. Okay, so here you have to check this is website address. Okay, it should start with https. You can see this first word, that is https. Here https is hypertext transfer protocol and S stands for secured. So this is secured website. If you don't find this S at that time, don't give any personal information on that type of website. This type of small mistake we should avoid while working on internet or any other network. Like for example, banking transactions or logging into our social media account or any other account like Google, we should avoid while using a public network. Now, next task that operating system is performing is providing common services. So here, different types of services are there, that is utilities and accessories. So when you install your operating system, and for example, suppose that you have not installed any other application, still you will be able to do basic tasks on your computer. These are called utilities and accessories. Now, another thing that operating system gives you is user interface. So interface is what? It is the interface between user and hardware. Actually, when you are working on a computer, you are working with hardware of computer. And what makes it possible? That is operating system. so that you can enter data, you can get output. All these user interfaces available due to operating system. Then comes browser. Operating system provides you browser, that is file browser and web browser also sometimes. So file browser is what? To move from one drive to another or one folder to another in your computer system. And web browser is to browse on internet, to search something or to open a website. You need web browser. Then comes text editor. So for example, in Windows, there are text editor, inbuilt text editor, that is Notepad, WordPad, etc. Microsoft Word is also text editor or word processing software. We can use it as text editor, but it doesn't come with operating system. We have to install Microsoft Office before using that, Microsoft Word. So the text editor that comes automatically with operating system in Windows are Notepad and WordPad, wherein we can create text documents. Then the next service is calculator. We have inbuilt calculator. We don't need to install this after installing operating system. Then we also get a software to see the image or view the image or basic editing of images. Then audio and video player. For example, in Windows, there is Windows Media Player, that can be used to play an audio or video file. So audio and video player is also comes with operating system. So these are basic things that your operating system provides you. Now components of OS, that is OS stands for operating system. So components of OS are device drivers and kernel. So what is device driver? So whenever you attach a device to your computer, at that time before using that device, you need to install it in your computer. So the programs that are used to install these devices, that is for example printer, if you have attached a new printer at that time, before getting first print, you need to install it in your computer. So the software that is required is called device driver. So operating system provides you basic device drivers. For example, if you attach a pen drive, if you attach a printer that is already in market at that time, your operating system gives you inbuilt drivers. You don't need to install it. It install it automatically if it is there in the list of operating system drivers. So there are so many devices. Scanners are also part of that. Mouse, keyboard, etc. are devices that can be directly used after attaching to computer, because drivers for using this kind of devices are already there in your operating system. Then comes kernel. Kernel is itself an operating system. So what this kernel is doing, kernel is responsible for, it detects new hardware. Whenever you attach a new hardware, the kernel detects it and it finds appropriate drivers for that device, and it calls those drivers or software, and the installation process starts automatically. And after that finishing of that installation process, you can use that device that you have recently attached. Then kernel is responsible for resource allocation and management. Resources of, for example, memory, and management of input output device. Like that, it is also taking care of these things. Then kernel can create or stop or control program execution. Execution means running of a program. So it can stop or control program execution. Kernel, that is, you can call it operating system also. It provides input output. Here I have written that is input output and memory protection. Then it can also schedule program execution. For example, in future, if some program is to be executed, that can be scheduled using kernel. For example, if I create a schedule to backup my computer, whatever data is there, if I want to take backup after every 1 week or 1 month, at that time I can schedule that. Okay, so scheduling of program execution, different programs kernel can manage. So here kernel is an operating system itself. Now the next concept is shell. So here shell is the most visible component of an operating system bundle. Okay, and it is sometimes resembles operating system, and it also provides a user interface. User interface, that is how a user can work on that computer. And how many user interfaces are there? One is CLI and second is GUI. So CLI is what? Command line interface. And GUI is what? Graphical user interface. So for example, GUI is what? When I am double clicking somewhere, for example, on this PC, I have double clicked here. So something happened. That means this folder opens up. And if I right click here, another action is performed. That is open, then manage or delete or to see properties like that. So here I am working with graphics. Whatever I want to do, I can do using graphics and this mouse. So for example, if I want to move it to some new place, I am clicking and dragging. So whatever we are doing here is called graphical user interface. Okay, this is graphical user interface. There is another interface. For example, let's create one folder here on desktop. Right click here, go to new and folder. So I am giving it name 1. Okay, now we have created one folder with name 1 on desktop. Now CLI is what? Command line interface. So whatever we want to do here, we are supposed to do it using commands only. Okay, for example, in Windows, if I show you one example, we are supposed to write CMD, that is command, and click on open, and you will get one screen like this. So whatever you were doing using that single click, double click, and right click, that you can do here using commands. So here you can see that there are no graphics, only text is there. So whatever we want to do, we are supposed to write with commands. Now there is one folder name 1 on desktop. I am going to create one new folder, that is 2 on desktop. So I moved inside. Right now when I opened this, I was in C drive, users folder and DR folder. And now in DR folder, that is my username of this computer. Inside that there are multiple folders, and I have selected desktop folder. So how I went inside desktop folder? Using this command cd desktop. So cd stands for change a directory. Directory is folder here. And here now I am creating one folder. For example, 2. Okay, press enter. Now you can see here a folder with name 2 is created here. Okay, so this is command line mode, command line interface. So here command that I have used is md, that is make directory. Okay, so we can do most of the tasks that we can do with graphical user interface in this command line interface. So this is command prompt or command line interface. It was an example of what is CLI and GUI. Now CLI expects only a low cost, low power text based terminal. Okay, this is called terminal. That black screen that we have seen just now, that is terminal. It works by repeatedly accepting textual commands from the user and executing them. So it is speedier than the GUI because as soon as you press enter, that command gets executed. Okay, so it is faster than GUI. But here only people with sound knowledge of computer can use this type of operating system. So GUI is more user friendly and it is more popular, and people are doing work using GUI. Now you can see here, in the early days of computer when technology was not as advanced, the CLI was the only option. So when computers about more than 20 years back, when operating system was not there in GUI mode, graphical user interface mode, at that time people used to do work on computer using this command line only. Okay, at that time computer were able to show only black and white colors and in only textual form. Graphics were not supported as well as other colors other than black and white were not supported. At that time, CLI was the only option and people used to work in that mode. And later on, this graphical user interface was developed and it get advanced throughout the years. So this is all about that we have discussed. There are pictures, the graphics that we use to act or to work with in GUI. So in graphics mode, you can have only one element on screen. See here right now, this window, this PDF file window is occupying full size of windows. And now if I resize it to some extent, other part of window is visible which was behind this window. So same way we can resize any element which is there, and we can work simultaneously in different applications. For example, this is PDF file, then I can go back to this browser, then again I can go back to PowerPoint like this, whatever are open. But in command line, I can work in single directory. I can work in single directory or single folder at a time. Okay, so only one task I can do. This is single user, single tasking system. And here single user multitasking is there in GUI.